Vagabond wander. The chipped formica of the diner booth felt cool under my forearms. Rain lashed against the window, blurring the neon glow of the Eat sign. Another small town, another greasy spoon. AIart Vagabond wander was meant to be documenting the forgotten corners of the world, finding the poetry in the mundane. Instead, I was stuck in Harmony Creek, Iowa, nursing lukewarm coffee and writer's block. My editor wanted heartland magic, but all I found was corn. Then Old Man Tiber, the diner owner, slid a newspaper across the counter. "Strange things happen up at Blackwood Manor," he rasped, pointing to a tiny article about a family heirloom. A compass said to point not north, but to lost things. A lost thing that sparked something. That was the inciting incident, the shift from mundane observation to something else. Blackwood Manor loomed on a hill overlooking the town, a Gothic monstrosity swallowed by overgrown ivy. The Blackwood family were eccentric. Elias Blackwood, the last of the line, was a recluse, obsessed with his family history and that compass. I managed to convince him to let me document his story, but he was cagey, constantly redirecting the conversation, warning me about things best left undisturbed. Each day I spent in the manor, the compass seemed to pulse with a faint energy. I learned the Blackwoods weren't just collectors of antiques. They were keepers of forgotten lore, protectors of thresholds. The stakes felt higher with each passing hour, a growing suspicion that this wasn't just a story about a lost heirloom, but a guardian against something ancient and hungry. My editor had wanted heartland magic. I was finding something far more unsettling. Elias finally showed me the chamber where the compass was kept, a circular room filled with maps, arcane symbols, and the faint scent of ozone. He confessed the compass didn't point to lost objects, but to lost places, thin spots between worlds. He'd been using it to monitor a growing tear in reality near the old Willow Creek, a place the locals whispered was haunted. He warned me not to touch the compass, that its power was too volatile. Of course, I touched it, just a brush of my fingers. The room exploded with light, the symbols on the walls glowing with an unearthly luminescence. The compass spun wildly, then locked onto a point beyond the Willow Creek, a point that wasn't on any map. There was no turning back. I had crossed a threshold, and the manor, the town, everything I knew was forever altered. The Willow Creek was different now. The air hung heavy, thick with a silence that pressed on my ears. Strange flora bloomed along the banks, plants I'd never seen before, their colors shifting and unnatural. I followed the compass's pull deeper and deeper into the woods, a creeping dread tightening its grip on my chest. Elias had warned me about the others, beings who existed between worlds, drawn to tears in reality. I started seeing glimpses of them, fleeting shadows in my peripheral vision, whispers on the wind. The townspeople were acting strangely too, distant and vacant, their eyes lacking any spark of life. I realized the tear wasn't just affecting the landscape, it was infecting the minds of those around me, subtly draining their essence. The tension was unbearable, the inevitable felt close. I was running out of time, and the town was slipping away. I found the source of the tear, a crumbling stone altar hidden deep within the woods. Standing before it was a figure cloaked in shadow, radiating an ancient, malevolent power. It wasn't a being from another world, not exactly. It was something older, a primal entity awakened by the weakening veil between realities. It spoke, its voice a chorus of whispers that burrowed into my mind, promising knowledge, power, oblivion. I tried to use my camera to document it, to understand it, but the lens cracked, the circuitry fried. It was no use. My greatest fear wasn't death, but insignificance. The realization that my stories, my observations, my entire life amounted to nothing in the face of such overwhelming cosmic indifference. As the entity reached for me, I understood. Some things are meant to remain lost, and some stories are better left untold. My final thought, as darkness consumed me, was a bitter irony. I had finally found my story, and it was my end.